Hello, namaskar. Good day. It's around 11:22 now. It's Friday the 14th. Friday the 14th of October. And we have about 10 more days when we join to Diwali. And here in Guyana, it's not the kind of Diwali you would find like in the Asian continent that they would celebrate in like Cambodia or Vietnam or Korea. Here we have a diaspora that came from India. And for a long time, the Hindus here were actually disconnected from their roots in India. So they had no correspondence with grandparents, uncle, aunt, nobody until maybe 200 years with technology of internet came. You had things like emails, and people are going with space rockets, and they can teleport and all these things, psychic communications, telepathic communication, all these things are here now. Long ago we had no that, so we had to be survive in our own quarters, and whatever tradition we brought with us, we upkeep and we kept, we practiced. So for my side, I had an experience of Diwali from a very young age when my parents were living at my grandmother's house in Bel Air. We were living in a downstairs flat. I remember my mother's attempt to make diyas from mud, lighting it, and I don't know why she did. Maybe it was very expensive or what. But in those days, the families would compete. Some had very beautiful diyas, and some people had to settle for the mud ones they make handmade. In fact, my mom even told us about bottle lamps. That's how we got to heard about bottle lamps. I think she tried making a couple bottle lamps. They would make them. Can't remember how they would get the fuel, how they would get the wick. They had a wick they would stick through the cork. I don't know what they would put inside, whether it's soil, water, or can't remember. But long ago they were using mud water with their own innovative technology. Later on, when my mom got senior, and so she started to buy her own diyas, maybe she found that some places were selling affordable. She would buy from K-Wall. She would go to Gandhi's. Those were places all day she would buy from, because I think they said K-Wall, one of the family was a medical personnel, and Gandhi's also she usually go there to buy in the old days her paraphernalia, as they called it, the Hindu items. They would have the spices and the whole sarjam, as they call it, the whole packet to do the puja. But my mom, being a Christian, she had a Christian upbringing in the early days as a Lutheran, but still working in the Indian communities, and so she came heavily under the spell of Hinduism, with her associates, co-workers, students she studied with at the college, and so when I was a child, my mom would make sweetmeats, prasad, and tell us the story of Lord Rama, that he was disowned by his parents and he had to go and live in the jungle. He with his loyal brother, his wife, while the other brothers, who were not as strong as these two, they remained back to enjoy luxurious lives with their mother and father, and so. But the others who were hardy and strong had to go on to more severe tests in this journey of life. What they call, you have to fetch your cross. If you're strong, you have to become stronger. If you're weak, most people who have the samskara of charisma and this dazzling personality, they can talk, they can smile, they can win the hearts of people, conquer. So these people, like the young other brothers, they remain behind with Kausalya and Kekahi and Dasrat and Mantari. They remain back in the castle to live their life there and celebrate their victory over Ram and Lakshman and Sita. Now, those were the story I heard when I was a kid growing up. When they were coming back from the forest after 14 years, the villagers loved them very much. Hmm? And so they were waited for this 14 years, you know. And when the brothers came back with their wife, they lit. Those days they hadn't lights, lanterns, street lanterns, lighted. So what they had, they paved the roadway with diyas, which is these little earthen pot with fires, and they had them all along there. And the men, the husband and the wife walked, and they went back and found their way home, and everybody would lead the deers to their home, hoping that Rama would come to their home, you know. And the tradition is still here. We light up around our homes, our passageway, our entrance, for the people to come in. I remember the sweetmeats. There would be things like pear to eat. My mother, grandmother had cows, so she would make very tasty peras. My mother would make goja and persad and roach. She was very skilled at it. Being a dispenser, she had good mixing abilities and compounding recipes and formulas. People often praised her expertise in cooking tasty Indian sweetmeats. I know she would make the puri and the lapsi. She was very good at making the puri very thin. When we have jandi or pujas, people would carry all the puri away. I don't really like it. It was so oily and kind of tasteless. But I don't know why adults, big people, have a taste for those kind of things. They like to wrap their vegetables and wrap and they kheer lapsi inside and they eat it. Wedding house lapsi and puri. So there's a Diwali is associated with fun, mirth. Unlike Pagua, it is not a water holiday. We splash each other, become dirty, messy, and hot howling and dancing and celebrate. It's kind of a different kind of, though it's celebration, it's kind of milder, it's kind of more cultured, more sober, you know. While Diwali in Pagua, the people are just go excess and friends and enemies embrace and all of this kind of stuff, you know. And while in the Diwali, they would just forget enmity. They would embrace each other. Is when light conquers darkness. This is what it means. The festival of light, Diwali. So my early days was very excitement. For example, remember over the river we were living at Best Hospital. When it's Diwali day, my mom would take off the blind, the curtains, clean the windows. We wash up the downstairs. My father would direct us, tell us to wash up down. Then he would give us the diyas, one bag of diyas. We would go to the pipe. I remember I was doing that one couple of times myself, washing each diya one by one from the previous day, removing the scum, the oil, sediments, removing the old wicks. And they would wait at the evening when it's Diwali and just they wouldn't light the lights. They would wait and light the diyas. My mama would sing Om Lakshmi Karatu Kalyana Marogyam Supa Sampadam Mama Shatro Vinasya Deepa Jyoti Namaste. There's a Lakshmi hymn, the Lakshmi mantra. She would sing that, fold her hands, dressed in her sari, and we would be looking what's going on, what will happen. Any magic will Lord Rama really come and visit us tonight, this afternoon? Then she would tell us to take the diyas down and put them. She'd pour the oil in the pots and we took it down or line it on the steps. Sometimes we hadn't enough like everybody else, but within affordability, we did something. We observed our festival. Some people really light it up, you know. Some homes, like the rich people, the upper class people, the wealthy people, they would light their places very luxuriously, you know. You go out for a walk there, you would see it. In those days, you hadn't cell phone to take pictures. They had this camera, this snapshot camera with a flash bulb and all this stuff, you know. Night cameras, you have to get special flash bulbs and all these things. So my mother had one of Kodak cameras, but I don't know why she never used it. But in fact, I can't remember if we went out of our gated communities during Diwali night over the west coast at Freedom Hope there. Can't remember if we would go out, but I know that My mother had bought a Om Hindu Twam book from Swamis at Coven John in Best Road, and she would use that book and we would do a little Hawan. She would be like the priest, officiating priest, and do all the Swaha mantras and feed the fire. We would sit down. She would have us do a little Hawan there with the Agni Kunt, flowers, ghee. She would buy everything and do the Hawan from the books for Diwali, and then we would share what Parsad and just like the church. She did that couple of years. We would observe that over the river. I think she did. So I can't remember why she stopped doing it, but I guess change of life, change of personality, change of temper, change of habits. But after the West Coast, I can't figure out what went on at coming back to Georgetown, if we were doing pujas here again, right? But what I do remember that there was a continuation of the lighting ceremony. Would spread the years out. My mom would cook these tasty meals, tasty food. We would watch a show, go to the movies, watch something on the television, or they would have a religious jandi puja at home the week for that week, and sometimes we have friends come over and we eat together and cook Hindi tasty snacks and so on. Sometimes a relative of a jandi on Lakshmi Day, and I would go, but after that I can't remember much. But we do go out sometimes to walk, but had to stop going out, right? To see the beautiful sights and the scenes and the lighted marvels of Diwali night. I think that was a Mawas night, dark night, when Lord Ram came back. That was a night during the tantric, the Kapalikas do their puja in the cremation grounds. So when we would go for a walk, the crowd was so intense that you can't go with car, you can't go with bicycle and walking. Sometimes we walk very fast, cover a lot of distance. But the lights, we couldn't see everything because people, the lights cut off about an hour, 2 hours after with fuel expenses. And so by 8 or 9 o'clock, it would only few houses would remain lighted. So that's what I remembered, but it not much church activity. My father wasn't very supportive about church going, temple going, because he says a lot of low life business goes on in the church family and the church. People used to tell us stay right home and pray and worship. Your home is a temple, Garik Mandir. So my father was from the South Indian stock. My mother was from Calcutta. My father's side, he was more strong. He didn't like the church business to get tangled up with the church member and stories and strife and problem with church life. So we did mostly at home with friends and relatives. And I remember after that, from there, I can't remember also what we did in Maikoni. I can't remember. I think they would go out sometime. People would take them out to what they had in those days, jag and ceremonies and so. But I can't remember what happened then. I can't remember lighting up in Maikoni. I think my mother was still intensely Christian then. Maikoni, I probably didn't observe Diwali then. But afterwards in the 88, from 88, 89, 90s, I joined the Ananda Marg, and they also celebrated Diwali. But the thing is that the Ananda Marg Guru, he said that the whole Ramayana and the Lord Rama is mythology, it's educational, though he didn't make it an end in all or the sake of his mission. He just mentioned it, but still throughout his books he talked about Lord Rama, would quote and make a reference to the Ramayana and so on. We observe Diwali, and in Ananda Marg, I noticed in Brazil they would have one lamp. They light one lamp, and they would have a service, Dharma Chakra they call it, collective meditation, bhajan, shared prasad, eat food, collective vegetarian meals. In Guyana also we did a couple Diwalis with and Pagwas with Jivesh. No, Diwalis mostly with Jiveshananda and the other acharyas and dadas who came. They would light a diya at the puja table when we had Dharma Chakra. We talk and we sing songs and share out, cook nice sweet meats, share out, and we remember the ceremony, But The tantric master is very paradoxical. He said, Baba said in Liberation of the Intellect, if God says something and a little child feel that it doesn't make sense, he has a right to question or to doubt or to speculate. So the tantric master will give you tests that seem very paradoxical, very awesome, very stupendous, and you can't use your intellect to solve it. Nati nati, not this. Like the Zen master say, has a dog a Buddha nature? Moo. It's emptiness. So it's very contrary. The Tantra and Zen, Tantra yoga, the master tests you so much, you just can't position the master or locate him, locating PR Sarkar. It's very tantric movement. So what he says about Lord Ram, or what he says, is not the foundation of the Ananda mark, it's not the purpose of our missionary. We're not witch hunting Rama devotees or the Ganesh devotees or all the Hindu pantheons, all the gods Baba says in the human body. At various psychic centers, you will find them living right in your body. Your body is a temple. Right in you, all the god and goddesses living. So this is it, Diwali is a festival of lights. When the dark era that sometimes encroached upon our homes, our society, our atmosphere become choked up with dark energies, with anti-human sentiments, and disconcerting theories and dogmas and nightmares, city of nightmare and the tongue of ghouls and ghost tongues and so on. We have to dispel all those and make everything bright again. That's why we have the incarnation like Durga, Kalki, Buddha, Ram. At various intervals they come to just clean up the place, to perfume the place up a little bit. People can constrict each other by their radiation, by their emotions. In fact, Baba said that enlightened beings, they radiate, and what they radiate. They don't radiate darkness, they radiate light. Use on rays of light. Like the Purna avatar, they have so much radiation. The Hamsa avatar has his own radiation also. And even in China, you read the book Autobiography of a Buddhist, Western Buddhist, you'll read John Blofield speaking about the radiation of the Taoists, the radiation of the Buddhist monks, talk about the rays of light and how men who practice spirituality, about their radiance and their ability to attract, fishes of men, as Christ would say. So there's light festival, light from the human, light from within, removing the darkness from within, removing the darkness without, and bringing light in our lives. As Bhagwan Mahavira said, the light is within you. You have to awaken that light. Buddha said the same thing at the time of his death. He said, work your salvation out with diligence. Bring light into your lives by effort. So this is it, Ananda Mark, they have the song. Deepavali Sajayichi Prabhu. And that's the Diwali song that they sing, and you should learn it. And the other one they have is Bandhu Amar, Bandhu Amar, Bandhu Amar. And you should learn those songs. It's about light. The yoga philosophy is about light. They have a beautiful book you should read, The Science of Divine Light by Swami Yogeshwarananda Paramahansa. Your being can be engulfed by darkness, or it can be engulfed by light. You can have light within or darkness within. Light removes darkness. Light is bring happiness, bring joy, bring prosperity, bring expansion of the soul and the mind. So we have to seek and try to bring lights into our life. It blesses that community, blesses that government that brings spirituality to its people, that teaches the people the secret and art of freeing themselves from darkness and bringing light to every corner, nook and corner. Just as we have internet in every home, you have a computer in every home, you have a martial arts club in every street, we should also have light and bounty of radiance everywhere in our society. That would be the Satya Yoga, the golden era, where there's golden light permeating everywhere, There's intellectual brilliance that is known as tejas, and individual brilliance that is known as ojas. So tejas and ojas make you an Udvarita. So let's learn about these little secrets that our ancient people kept compounded in the books and volumes of texts, holy books and literatures. We have to find them out one by one. And light the lamp of knowledge in our homes, keep it ever burning like the ever burning dunes of the Nata yogis. They have this dun, the fire always burning. There's a Zoroastrian flame that has been kept burning in India for I think 1,000 years, or how many years they've been keeping this flame alive. Why? It signifies light. Light is a very beautiful thing. It brings color, it brings warmth, it brings eyesight, it brings vision, it brings technology, it brings movement in the physical sphere. Without light, you can't move, you can't do. So it's a foundation of civilization, like water, being one of the five elements. Like water, like fire, it is luminosity, very valuable and important, powerful, plays a very important role among the five elements. So let there be light, let there be happiness and joy. Happy Diwali to everybody. Namaskar.